If you are new to Lightroom, you'll find this movie a little bit irrelevant, so feel free to skip ahead. Yet if you've used Lightroom previously, I think you'll find these new features quite fascinating. Now, the feature that I am most excited about is the improved speed. Lightroom runs so much more quickly. Now, I'm excited about speed, not for speed's sake, not because I just want to work quickly, but if I work quickly, I can come up with more creative results. Another fascinating new feature is the adjustment brush. The adjustment brush actually allows you to paint in adjustments to specific areas. Now, you may be thinking, okay, Chris, what's the big deal? We've been doing that in Photoshop forever. Well, here's the big deal. In Lightroom, it's non-destructive. In addition, it doesn't take up a ton of extra file size. One of the things I think you'll find is that the adjustment brush is something that you'll be using on almost every image. Another new feature that's fascinating is the post-crop vignette. Now, with the post-crop vignette tool, as you imagine, you can obviously add a vignette after you've cropped your image, and that's wonderful. Yet, in addition, you can control the shape of the crop, the feather, the edges. Really fascinating tool. Now, another new feature that's really exciting is Lightroom is now more tightly integrated with Photoshop. Now, there are a number of different examples that I could give you, but here's one. You could photograph an image with 2 exposure settings. You could work on those images in Lightroom. You could then open up 2 files from Lightroom in Photoshop as one document, and you could have those 2 files as 2 separate layers in Photoshop. What that means is you could take advantage of both exposures. In Photoshop, you could create a mask and then mask in the best of both worlds. The long and the short of it is Lightroom and Photoshop are now much more tightly integrated. When I was working with Lightroom 1, how often did I actually print from Lightroom, just from Lightroom? Well, not that often. Well, here's the good news. Printing in Lightroom 2 is so much better. Not only do you have more controls in regards to layout and output, the final print is much better. Now, one of the main reasons I use Lightroom is because it helps me organize and access my image archive. Well, finding, filtering, and sorting in Lightroom 2 is now much stronger, much more unified, and much better. Another interesting new feature in Lightroom is called collections. You can create a collection in the library module, slideshow module, web, or print module. In that way, you can create a collection that was created for a particular output or for a particular use. You can then take advantage of those collections in the other modules as well. Keywording is something that we all know that we should do, yet it's something that we all don't do because keywording can be a little bit tedious. Well, here's the good news. In Lightroom 2, keywording is much more fluid and simple. Now, the final new feature that I want to highlight is multiple monitor support. If you're fortunate enough to have 2 monitors, you can now take advantage of that second monitor and run different aspects of Lightroom on that second monitor. Well, as you can tell, there are some fascinating new features inside of Lightroom, and we'll be getting into the specifics of all of these and more throughout the rest of this training.